So what's your name?
Ken Mejicabb.
Ken, how long have you been on power cranks?
I bought them in November.
Now what was
Late
it?
November.
Late November, so it's now February, beginning of March, right?
Yeah.
So, about 3 months?
3 months.
Okay.
Immersion training.
Immersion training, very cool. So tell us about your first ride.
First ride, I rode about 14 miles at night in traffic.
Ah, really?
So, I mean, I was so excited about them. I put them on. I decided to ride, in downtown Sacramento. And it probably wasn't the smartest thing to do, to ride in traffic. But, I got used to it a little bit. And it was okay. I felt my hip flexors by the end of the night. It was about a 45-minute ride on and off, so it wasn't that big a deal.
Well, a lot of stopping if you're in traffic.
Yeah.
So it's stop time, so you're giving yourself a lot of resting. It wasn't like 45 minutes constantly. Yeah, okay, very cool. Now, what's your background before you got one?
I just started riding seriously about a year and a half ago. Before that, I played video games.
And you're how old?
I'm 34.
34?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're a cat?
Cat 4.
Cat 4 now? Okay. So tell us about the adaptation on the power cranks. How did it go?
The adaptation was tough. I mean, I considered quitting cycling after the first 2 weeks. The first day was okay. The second day was okay. The third day, I thought actually, wow, I'm adapting really well. I was telling Andrew. The third day, I went out for a 30-mile ride, and on the way back, I was able to push 271 for 14 minutes, which is pretty decent for a 145-pound rider. And it was a slow cadence type riding. I think I averaged 76 RPM, but I was still able to push a big gear. The fourth day, I could barely ride for an hour. And then from that day on until, 10 days later, my training time dropped to an hour a day.
What do you think it was? That's really pretty unusual. Do you think it's just fatigue?
I think my legs fatigued a lot, and it wasn't used to the kind of pedaling action. So it was pretty discouraging. I considered calling Andrew back and getting a refund. But then
Thank you for not doing it.
I decided to email Joaquin.
Yes.
And he laid it out on the line, and he said, this isn't magic. You have to stick through it. It's going to take you maybe 2 to 3 weeks to fully adapt to it, and then you'll start seeing the benefits. So I decided to stick through it. After the second week, which is probably the 14th day I had it on, I decided I was just going to punish myself and just go on a long ride with the group. And if I can't hang, I'll return it. If I can hang, then it'll start to work. And that was a breakthrough day for me. We rode 50 miles and climbed about 3,500 feet. And I felt okay. I stayed with the group. And ever since that day, I was able to go on regular rides, 80-mile rides with a group.
So for somebody else listening, really one of the keys is to stay with them until you get to that breakthrough.
Absolutely have to stay with them.
So whether it's a 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
You just got to put time in. Now those 2 weeks, did you cut back some of your time, or did you try to stay that hour ride every day, or what did you do?
I just rode as much as I could.
Okay.
And the funny thing is, the first type of benefits I saw wasn't in cycling. Because my cycling training time went down so much, I decided to start running. And I hate running. I don't run at all. I ended up improving my running time significantly. I'm not a runner. So I was able to run I used to run a 10-minute mile to a 7-minute mile for 10 miles.
Really?
Yeah. So I started thinking maybe I should just start running. Because riding on power cranks was so painful that running felt like nothing. So I was able to run a lot more and faster on power cranks.
Really? Yeah. Well, a lot of people see it. Most of our triathletes see big running improvement. That's perhaps the biggest improvement in running I've ever heard.
Well, because I'm not a runner,
right?
First of all. so, I saw the benefits immediately for running. So I started thinking, this is probably going to help my running more than my cycling. But then I just stuck through it, and it ultimately helped my cycling.
But that running would allow you to keep your cardio fitness while you're struggling to get your biking up.
Right.
So, I mean, it is a way of sort of a cross-training to keep your fitness up. But people might worry about that. It's a way to do it.
Right.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. So, did you think about taking a day off? Give yourself a little rest.
My days off were basically spent running.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I was afraid of losing my base cardio fitness, so it was either cycling or running. 1 or 2 days off every now and then.
Well, and another thing, it was a group of people who were doing it. You weren't alone in this, so you were with some other people. That helped you a little bit also, right? Because you saw them struggling also?
Yeah. And it helped me challenge myself to ride just as fast as the guys on regular cranks on my power cranks.
Right.
And after a month or so, I was able to see the benefits that I could hang with these guys on power cranks, and eventually I was able to outride them.
And once you get to that point where you can hang with the guys on regular cranks, the guys you used to ride with, it's not too much longer that then you're going beyond them, right? I mean, it's very quick from hanging to seeing improvement, right? Yeah.
And like I said, it even feels like you're cheating when you're using regular cranks. That's why I'm really hesitant. Even before this race, I've been riding power cranks since late November. I didn't want to take my power cranks off, because I was afraid that I might lose that muscle memory or my fitness. So I was only off the power cranks for maybe 3 days before this race.
And you do okay in the race?
Maybe 9.
Cool. So how now do you have a power meter?
I do.
Yeah. Have you seen power increase? Have you been able to document that?
I would have to say last year before power cranks, my threshold was probably 255. This year on power cranks, it's probably 270, 275. So without power cranks, I'm guessing it's going to be 280, 285 without power cranks.
And that's in 3 months.
That's in 3 months.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Pretty significant improvement in power.
And you're just a baby, 3 months.
3 months.
You can see that's the tip of the iceberg with these guys.
So I'm going to try to follow what Joaquin did, which I think he did immersion training for 13 months and improved his threshold power by 100 watts.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping to get there.
And he's still improving.
He's still improving.
Yeah,
He's a lot older than me.
we just saw another file from him. He's improving still. So.
I should send you my file. I have all my files from November.
Very cool. Yeah. Okay. Any words for the masses?
Trying. You gotta suffer through it, but you definitely have to stick through it. It's not magic, and if you suffer through it, you'll see the benefits.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep.